So I was thinking over the weekend about a lot of things, and I was like, hey, we really got to have a nice kickoff meeting for this year. And I can't do regular sales training because my people don't listen. So I said, I got to do a motive training. Because a lot of what's going on lately on the phone is motives. And it's motives for the salespeople. We had some salespeople that were really far behind and crept their way up. And I want to call them out. One sitting in front of me, his name is George. George was always good, but he never caught on. And all of a sudden, this guy caught. And he's producing thousands a week. So I want to say hats off to you, George. Another one is a kid with a bad haircut in the corner. Peter. This kid dressed in a suit today. Stand up, Peter. Look at this kid.
Whoa! All right, Pete.
Peter was sitting there, he was doing an average of 1,500 a week. He was doing all right. All of a sudden, you just put it right in gear, man. Now you're in the thousands. So I want to say, awesome. You guys sitting right next to the chains. Sleeping giants, literally. Right? This guy is reaching thousands. Checks this week, the biggest one going out is 13,000. So I thought it was going to be larger than that, but there was some cancels. I told people to call back last week that apparently they didn't, but it's still 13,000. Average check going out was 6,000. So we guys, we had an extraordinary comp period. So I wanted to say, awesome job, congratulations to everybody. What a way to kick off going into 2020. Now there's some important things though, when you look at the sheet that I handed out, it has everything to do with our mindsets though, and what's going on with some people that are not at the $10,000, $13,000 level. What do you guys think that really is? The buying motive inside of our heads is what stops us from asking questions. Now, we have this innate ability to say inside of our head that we can accomplish anything, but when it comes to doing, we stop ourselves and we struggle. Where do you guys think that comes from? Comfort. What? Doubt. Doubt? 100%. What else, Coach?
Lack of self-confidence.
Lack of self-confidence. Why us? Why do you think some people enter marathons and the rest of the world doesn't? Why is it some people jump off mountains with just a pair of wings? Some people don't. Why do some people skydive? Some people don't. Why are some people in the armed forces and some people are not? Say?
Live in fear.
Live in fear, right? We do. We have a certain fear. There's an objective to everything that we do that makes us great and or that makes us mediocre and or less than mediocre. And in sales, it's one of those things that salespeople have where we're always scared to move ahead. We're scared to ask. Where do you think that fear comes from? Just because of the ability of the person. Where do you think it comes from? Alicia, where do you think that fear comes from? Where do you think the substance to say, I can't progress, I can't move on, then all of a sudden the excuses start to flow in? Where does that come from? The same thing in school, history. When we all went to high school, we all wish that we studied a little bit more, we did a little bit more now that we graduated, but when you're going through it, what is your mindset? This is hard, I don't want to study, I don't have time for this. This part isn't cool, that part isn't cool. I hate history class, I hate algebra. All of a sudden the hates come in, and then we stop ourselves from doing it, and then as we get older, what do we say? That was easy as hell. We go from the cool kids, then all of a sudden when you get older, you don't even ask anybody if you were a cool kid in high school. No one gives a what? No, right? But in sales, we have that same mentality as we did in school, as we did in sports. Think about that. There's only a few athletes that excel above everyone else. Am I right, Eric? Only a few. But you have people that have ability in class, don't you? And then all of a sudden you put them inside that event, and they just get what? Starstruck. The lights start to come down, and they say, oh shit, I have to perform. And then what do? Lose. But in the gym, they're winning. At home, we're winning. When we're with friends, we're winning. But then when it comes down to doing something, we fall behind. How do we get over that hump? And that's the real question. I had meetings last week on basic salesmanship, right? Power statements, simple framing techniques, and a lot of you did not know them. Then all of a sudden, some of you started to use them, and what happened?
Start writing more deals.
It became so much easier. became so much easier. But we don't like to study things to make life easy, do we? No, we don't. We want life to be difficult because we need something to fall back on why we're not as successful as we portray ourselves to be. So we need to tell people it was the leads. Mike screwed me over with this. All the inbounds went over to Jesse. He took all the good stuff. I'm having a bad day. My girlfriend was fighting with me. You don't understand, I woke up late. I'm not sure what I want to do. And all of a sudden, all these things start to pile on, and you start to what? Believe it. So we start to excuse ourselves out of things, but that belief system starts to develop inside of our heads. We start to believe everything we say to other people as an excuse, and then you have to live it. And when you start living it, your dreams start to go away. Think about that. You start to live what you preach. I have somebody in here today that never shows up to work, doesn't put any effort, and then they say, I'm not making any money. Is that a hard math equation for you? No, not for me either. But to that person, it became a reality. Then they had an epiphany, a wake-up call. They snapped out of it, lasted an hour. Then they went right back to it. How do they resolve that, Ashley? How do they get out of that hole? How do they stop believing what they keep telling everybody what is true? Do something different? If it was only that easy, if it was only that easy. I have pictures on the wall of fighters over in the gym. People with the most talent, Jesse, that you have ever seen in the game. Eric, right? They go nowhere. Because why? One of them wants to work with me right now. I said, no, I'm not going to let you do that. Because what you're doing is giving yourself an excuse on why you can't move ahead. And we all do that. Now look at your calls. Look at sales, look at our careers. We all want to have something to fall back on. And to fall back on, we need that excuse. We need to say, I don't want to be successful in that because I really don't want to prove to myself that I can be that great. Because then I have to hold myself accountable for it every single day. I literally heard a conversation in here, and you're probably going to know who you are right now, and put your hand over your face, where you said to somebody, I'm not going to do that every day because then Mike will expect me to do that every day, and I just don't want to have to do it. What? I just walked away because I was standing behind these people and they didn't know. I was doing my little walkthrough. I said, wow, they're that lazy that they can go make $1,200 in a day, that they don't want to do it for themselves. They wanted to prove to me that they can do it, but they didn't want to do it every day because then I'm going to hold them accountable to go make $1,200 a day. Isn't that ironic? Is that stupidity? That's just the most ridiculous stuff I ever heard, but this is the way we all think. Remember that. This is the way you think. What holds you back? What holds you back? What holds you back from going from $2,000 in a week to 4 to 6? What holds you back? We can always say it's the data, it's the person sitting next to me, it's this, it's that. But what is it really?
Your own
It's what you
expectations.
convince yourself that you are. That's all it is. I want you to look at the paper they handed out and read me the first line, Coach. Anytime.
Wonder why we sometimes get bored and forget to pitch through the day? Do you sit there and question your motives on why you're on the phone? Maybe why you choose to do this? Your thoughts become your pitch and doubts make reality. I know of a few reps that literally say these things word for word, and the reality is they are right. They become what they believe and think. It is dangerous ground. Think of a surgeon where you need steady
And think
hands.
about this. You have a surgeon. He needs steady hands. You go visit him, and he looks great. She looks great. They say, this is the doctor that's going to save my life. And they say, no problem, I got you. Don't worry about it. And then they start to tell you, sometimes I get nervous. Not everyone lives through this. right? Chances look pretty good for you. And then you say, well, what do you mean by that? You say, well, you got a 50-50 shot. You say, well, I thought this was an easy procedure. Yeah, but you know, I tend to shake a lot underneath pressure. Would you say, oh, I'm going to pay for this? I'm going to take the risk. Would you guys say that? Would you say, yeah, all right, I'll take the risk for you, 50-50? Sounds great.
Be out the door.
Be out the door. There's a belief system. Now there's another surgeon that says, got your back, no problem. Done this 1,000 times. 100% success rate. I got you. You're going to be fine. Which one are you going to feel more comfortable with? Which one are you? Which one are you? Are you the one that doesn't know, is pretty shaky, doesn't want to show up to work every single day, has no reason to wake up? Or are you the one that goes, simple stuff, simple shit, I got you? Which one do you want? You want the doctor who uses all the right power statements, that tells you everything that you want to hear and you should hear. You don't want to hear doubt, correct or incorrect.
Right.
Yeah? Now, salespeople, why do we doubt ourselves? Why do you guys doubt yourselves? How easy is our job? Selling jewelry, furniture, cars, houses, insurance. How easy is our job? Where is the difficulty? Do we have somebody lying on the table that if we're not successful, they die? Absolutely not. In a sense, you could say that. It's hyperbole, but it's not true. The truth is, they'll just buy it from somebody else. So you have a 50-50 shot all the time, no matter what. If you're miserable, if you're excited, loss of enthusiasm, or too enthusiastic, 50-50 shot. How do you want to go into it? Negatively? You go for the lower 50%, or do you want to go for the upper 50%? Whereas if you go into it enthusiastically and say, this is too easy, I got this, you want to go in there and say, I take 100% of the shots, and I make them. Your mentality is everything going into a sale. Without your mentality, you're going to lose. If you guys don't believe that you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, you're not. You have to believe that your shit doesn't stink. Every single fall in everything that you do. Because if you don't think you're better than the other person, what are you, Carlos? No, you're not. You have to have an ego. Say it, Jesse. You have to have an ego. Say it.
You have to have an ego.
Without the sales ego, you can't close. People will not believe you unless you have an ego. Because people want to buy from somebody that knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about. But again, they don't want to buy from somebody that is smarter than them. So you got to balance it, but they're looking for what, Christine? Self-confidence. And if you don't have that self-confidence and you keep second-guessing yourself, James, like you used to, and that was one of your struggles on the phone, you second-guessed everything. You went from plan to plan, you asked people, is this affordable? Do you want this? How does that sound? When you do those things, what do you think people are going to answer?
No.
If Ford's trying to sell you a $50,000 diamond and he says is that affordable, is it affordable? Fuck no. It doesn't sound affordable for anyone. In your head, you're going, millions of dollars would be affordable. No, it wouldn't. You would still look at it and say, I ain't paying out for this. I'm looking for a deal. So if we all have that mentality and it never goes away, what do you have to do? Well, look at the sheet again. And now skip over to paragraph 2. Kurt, what does this say, first line?
Now, if thoughts are the consequences of action and inaction, but also the determination, how do we structure our mindsets in such a way we can win?
Beautiful. So, I want you guys to start to go through your day. Who wakes up and makes a list of everything that they have to do, everything that they have to accomplish? Who thinks about what they have to accomplish every day? Or do we just put it off for day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5? It's like a bad diet. People say, I'll start tomorrow. I can have this. I did good. You did good when? For the 4 hours? 3 hours? Well, when did you do good? But people use these small excuses to ruin what? The big idea. how do you start off your day? How do you start off your mindset? Think about that. I handed out a book for Christmas. One of them was what?
Think and Grow Rich.
7 Habits. Another one was something to make your bed. You want to read it now? Damn. What? Make your bed. If you don't wake up starting to accomplish stuff, what are you going to do throughout your day? Now let's go to your pitch. If you don't start off your first pitch, asking and asking and asking again, how's the rest of your day going to go? A lot of people in here say, well, my day started horrible. I pitched this guy, I just couldn't stand it. This is one of those Medicaid guys, whatever, just got frustrated. And then all of a sudden, the rest of the morning, we don't sell anything. The rest of the day, we don't sell anything because of that one phone call. Does that make sense? No? So you get sick one day of the year, and the rest of the year, you're just going to take off? Say, well, I got the flu on January 1st, so fucking 2020 shot. That's the same mentality, isn't it? How mad do some of you guys get watching football and basketball? I know some of you, Kurt. You get very frustrated. Catch the ball, run, jackass. You're saying all these things. Meanwhile, you're sitting there at the bar, right? How do we change our mentalities to say,